late last night and are about to wake up and rush to a microclass with Suman.
So, have you guys started this thing yet?
When's that due?
I think it's tomorrow.
Michael arrives 10 minutes
Sorry,
to
everybody.
class. Again.
Okay, let's get started. Okay, so just quick announcement for class. So make a note, 2 plus 2 is 4. Actually, some students have a problem on last assignment. One student, Warren. So please, Warren, make a note. It's actually 4. It's not 2. Okay? Because the 2 is already there. So, okay, let's start now. So don't have to write this down, okay? But leave room. There's gonna be a constraint, okay? It's gonna be greater than y, okay? And we start with the max, okay? And then we go up here. Down, right, okay. Okay, so don't have to write it down, but it's going to be on the final. Okay. Everyone have that? So it's going to be, oh no, that's not right. It's going to be delta, okay. So any questions? Yeah, questions?
This might be a silly question, but what is delta?
Wow. Did the warm put you up to this? It's like it's a Greek letter. It's like D, but it's Greek. So look in your notes. We covered this in last class, actually. It's in the notes. Okay, so now no more questions. Gonna give you last assignment. I know assignment is due tomorrow, but I'm gonna do another one anyway. So oh, okay. It's nice. Okay. See you tomorrow, students. Here we go. Have a nice day. Have a nice day. Okay, please make sure Warren gets this.
The students go right into the next class, quantitative methods with Antoine.
Hello, class. Can everyone hear me?
No.
Okay, I'm just gonna go anyways, guys. So, in today's lecture, we're going through chapters 1 through 10. Don't worry, in the last 5 minutes, we only have to go through like 20 slides. We'll make it now. So we're gonna look at the equation. Whiteboard never works here. Oh, I've got an omega over here. So, these equations are really fun. I do them all the time. Sometimes I think about scrolling the internet. Instead, I actually think about minimizing or maximizing. Yeah?
Sorry, Antoine, should there be an omega hat inverse transpose inverse between the second and third last x?
Yeah. Oh. Where's the eraser? Oh, over here. Oh, this isn't working very well. There. So, this might be really hard to minimize, but actually to maximize the inverse is substantially easier. So, we're almost done class. We're only 10 minutes late, so. So my office hours are any time but 2 a.m. to 3 a.m. on Sunday nights. So. Any other time, unless you knock extra hard, I might still ask. Yeah. See you guys in the next class.
A few brave and perhaps foolhardy students now attend econometrics with McKinnon.
Just in time. Alright, so yesterday we went over about 45 minutes of generalized least squares, and that left around 20 for instrumental variables, but now we need to get to the most important topic so far in this course. We have 2 lectures to learn how to bake our Christmas cookies. Now baking Christmas cookies, if you hadn't noticed, it occupies most of the work that Russell and I have done over the past few months. And in fact, that's the reason I was a bit delayed this morning. Russell said we had to include chopped walnuts on the cookies. even though crushed pecans have made chopped walnuts completely obsolete. Russell insisted. In all fairness, occasionally you will run into a tough cookie judge who insists on a certain type of nut, or tells you have too much sugar, or perhaps he even wants you to conduct a nut sensitivity analysis, not include any at all, and 9 months of good baking gets sent back to you for a rebate. Then again, perhaps it's a good thing that they are thorough. After all, some genuinely terrible cookies make it to our grocery store shelves. I remember one time back when I was at Princeton, an aspiring baker showed up to give a talk, and he was from a well-known Canadian school. I will not say which one. It certainly was not the University of Toronto. And it wasn't until he arrived at the conference we discovered he had accidentally put in a cup of salt instead of sugar. Needless to say, his reputation was ruined, and we never invited him back to Princeton. All right, we have to get on to our next section now. We'll be going over the asymptotic theory of cookie baking. Now, the asymptotics have been greatly overrated by econometricians. It's true, you can achieve excellent efficiency if you have 10,000 pounds of Pillsbury dough in a giant oven, but consider the finite sample efficiency. If you only bake 2, 3, perhaps 10 cookies in a big oven, the efficiency is going to be terrible. It would be utterly absurd to do such a thing. In fact, you might not even know the temperature of your cookies. Do any of you know how the digital thermometer in your oven works, or what precision it can reach? Have any of you heard of floating point arithmetic? You can put your hands up. Oh, alright, well, back in the 80s, we certainly knew. I'll tell you, back then, our supercomputer at Princeton had less computational power than the digital thermometer in your stove today. Alright. it seems we're just about out of time. So there are a few materials that we didn't quite go over, but you can review them by having a look at Alberts and McKinnon, Black and McKinnon, Conrad and McKinnon, Davidson and McKinnon 2004, Davidson and McKinnon 2012, McKinnon's Greatest Hits, or McKinnon No Color.
There is no industrial organization today, as Roger Ware decided to go to Florida. Therefore, we move on to our last class, International Trade with Bev.
Hello, class. Just a few minutes before we begin. Looks like we're having some more technical difficulties today with this laptop.
No.
Yeah, it just looks like it's one of those days, you know. Nothing seems to be working for you. But all right, I guess we'll just go to the whiteboard today. So we're just going to start off going over some notation that you'll need in your next assignment. Pretty easy. This assignment's pretty short, although you know me. I'm thinking 30 to 40 pages for this one, you know. Nothing that shouldn't take you too long. Okay, so we'll be going over some easy notation that you should already know, but we'll just go over it for the sake of things. So I'm gonna write it down and then I'll explain it after. You know, sometimes it's nice to have some silence.
Michael arrives to class 10 minutes late again.
Sorry, everybody.
Alright, so we're just going to be going over the different subscripts and superscripts, as you should all know by now. I know there are about 1 million subscripts and superscripts, but they're easy to keep track of. So first we have G, which denotes the country. And then we have W for the good. We have Y for the industry. We then have alpha and beta that denote the color and the size of the good, respectively, because these are very important when trading between countries. We then have a negative X on the top to denote the marital status of the good. It's a negative effect, because we all know about marriage. Okay. Then we have Y minus X denoting the weight and the preferability of the good in the country it's being exported to. And so that's the. And then we have a smiley face down here to denote the overall happiness countries have when trading with each other. Because trade is good. Okay, so you all got that? Great. Okay. So now we're going to be going over a very simple graph. I'll go over it very slowly and to make sure everyone understands what's going on. So make sure to copy this down. It'll be in your next assignment, okay? So I'll go slow, okay. Okay, so I'm assuming everyone understands what I just wrote down. Pretty simple to get, So the move of this curve has to do with the different size and weight of the good. The moves of the PPF have to do with the marital status of that good and how it relates to the country. And then over here, of course, is just the different movements of the happiness, consumers get from trading with each other. All right, so that's it for today. I hope everyone followed what went on, and Thor will be speaking to you now on a few things, including your MA essays.
I was hoping you could supervise my essay. I was watching Star Wars. It was inspired me to calculate the GDP of the Death Star. Hello, how is everybody doing today? Are you enjoying the open doors policy? You're feeling good and positive, Queens? Good. Welcome to a place where smiling is mandatory and the frowns are banned. So I understand some of you are thinking about the PhD program. I'd encourage you to consider Queens. Not that we are desperate, no. Please consider Queens. Now, I would be crazy to tell you to say no if you got into Harvard, or Yale, or Princeton, or Berkeley. There's a list of about 75 schools. You would be crazy to say no to Queens. Yeah. So how are your MA essays going?
Haven't started yet.
You haven't started? There's no reason to be stressed out. You should be fine if you start in about 1 month ago. Now I understand all the best professors are going to be on sabbatical. and I understand most of them won't take more than one student. But don't even worry about it, you'll be fine. So are there any questions about support? Yeah?
Is there anything we can do about the dirty state of the offices?
You mean the garbage is in the offices? There are garbages overflowing in your offices? Here's what I want you to do. You're going to take your garbage and a can of gasoline and a lighter, and you're going to take it to the principal's. Danielle is teaching me slow breathing. Now we were going to have the TA training tonight, yeah. But instead we're going to go to the Grizzly Grill, and drink some lovely Bavarian beer, yeah. So let's go, yeah.